Away from 8 on your Monday morning, New Zealand First held its annual gathering over the weekend, announcing a raft of policy plans, including compulsory KiwiSaver, a minimum 8, then 10% contribution for employees and employers, and new migrants will have to sign a values statement if New Zealand First gets its way. Sacked Labor MP Stuart Nash also made an appearance, leaving many sort of wondering what's going on there. Winston Peters is the New Zealand First leader and Foreign Minister and joins us this morning. Minister, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. How was the weekend? You enjoy yourself?
Well, conventions are always a real trial because it's a lot of work, a lot of organisation. You're worrying about the airlines, you're worrying about the weather, but it all came together and we had a tremendous convention and one of the best we've ever had, and the place was packed out.
What's your goal? Do you have a goal percentage-wise for the party at the next election?
Most definitely, but I'm not telling you.
Double figures, presumably?
Well, of course, and we're already there already. We're climbing all the time, but we put in a lot of base work in the off-election year. That's why the convention at number 2 was so successful, because it's an off year, and yet they were out in their thousands. We got over 1,000 people turn up to our public meeting.
Yeah, it was a big crowd. Now, we'll talk about policy in a second. Stuart Nash was obviously there. He's former Labor. Some in the media you might have seen, not me, Winston, but some in the media have suggested, maybe this is a bridge between New Zealand First and Labor. Can you just clarify for us exactly what your position is on Labor?
Well, those sort of people who speculate those sorts of statements about him being a bridge should restrain themselves. They know nothing about politics or negotiations, and when they're talking about the most experienced party when it comes to negotiations, we don't do things like that there. We don't, like the rest, sign up to others. We're the only party that doesn't. And we've done it for 32 years. So, when they say that, they're defying 32 years of our history of always leaving it for the public to decide first what's happening.
Because a lot of people were worried, texting into my News Talk ZB show this morning, Mr. Peters, and they were angsty about the possibility of a New Zealand First Labor deal. Can you just clarify exactly what your position is with Labor?
Look, the Labor Party is in serious trouble because they stand for nothing at the moment. In the last campaign, what did Hipkins do when he campaigned? He ate sausage rolls and did nothing, and yet he's on 6 o'clock news night after night. And then he had the bonfire after he took over as the Prime Minister of their policies, which was a admission that their policies were hopeless. They haven't got any policies. No, we're campaigning to maximise the New Zealand First vote for a country that needs serious recovery with the right economic and social plan, and we believe we've got it.
And that won't be with Labor?
Well, why are you asking me? Here we are, almost 40 months from the election, and almost like the first time I ever started the party, somebody said, who are you going to go with? And I thought, I've just got off the stage of launching a new party, and they want to know, where's your manifesto, who are you going to go with? And the answer is, we are going to get the maximum vote for New Zealand First for the benefit of the maximum number of New Zealanders.
But can you see why, from a voter's perspective, you're coming on here this morning and saying Labor is this, Labor is that, they're woke, they've lost their way, they don't know who they are as a party, but then at the same time not ruling them out?
Look, I've ruled Hipkins out a long time ago. How long does it take you guys to work it out?
But only Hipkins.
I said that in 23, 24, 25. Do I have to go and put it on my grave?
Hey, you're a long way off that, Winston. But just
not a very good analogy, is it?
Just so people know, it's not a no to Labor. It's a no to Hipkins. If they change leader, it's a possibility.
No, look, have a look at the Labor Party. Look where they are at the moment. It's very sad, actually. There's some good people there, but there's so many new there that don't know anything about business, don't know anything about life, don't know anything about how shall I say it, the ordinary Kiwi. They have been almost on the taxpayers' tip since the day they left school. They've never had a real job. How can you govern with people like that? And I don't know why I'm even answering this question. I came on to talk about an exciting party.
Yes,
with a convention called New Zealand First, and you've gone, just like all of your colleagues, straight to talk about some failed party.
All right, well, let's get here. So I'm with you on the KiwiSaver. It has to happen. It's an inevitability in my mind. So KiwiSaver getting from 8 and then up to 10% eventually. That will mean, obviously, money coming out of the pockets of workers, but also of business. You're saying tax...
No.
Hang on.
Your colleagues didn't report it. I said, but here's the difference.
There's a tax cut.
The employers will pay their share in the tax cut, and the workers will pay their share in the tax cut.
I was getting there, for goodness sakes. So then you give a tax cut, but you won't say how big, you won't say how much, you won't say where the money might be coming from.
Well, can you please tell me, and your colleagues tell me, all those experts who want an instant analysis, how many hundreds of thousands have signed up to KiwiSaver but are not contributing? When you know all those figures and what to
33%.
do, then you'll be able to work out the calculus correctly. But those who say they could understand, they don't know what the figures are, don't know what the problem is. But we've got the Temasek model, we've got the savings model of Singapore, we've got that of countries like Croatia and elsewhere. We have got a chance to get this right.
Okay, the tax cuts are going to cost potentially billions of dollars, probably billions of dollars, let's say that.
Of course, yes.
Okay, so what is your principle on where that money might come from? Would it be increasing taxes elsewhere? Would it be cutting more spending? Would it be growing the economy? What would be your preference?
Well, Grant Robinson spent $66 billion without any idea where it was going, purely on consumption. I didn't hear you guys questioning him back then.
Oh, hang on.
Hang on. Don't get so outraged. Don't get so outraged. I'm talking about taking that sort of investment and turning it into not for consumption, but for added value, for productivity, for a investment and asset-owning company run by KiwiSaver, which should be, and it is, there's models of it overseas, which should be what we desperately can put in place as soon as possible. Now, look, this has got a history to it. 50 years ago, Norman Kirk and the Labour Party had a plan. The National Party torpedoed it on the basis of its defects. Instead of fixing the plan and making us a wealthy nation, they just turned into political outcomes. And so we don't want to do that. We want a cross-party agreement on a long-term saving and investment and asset-owning strategy so that not all of our assets are owned offshore to the benefit of overseas people.
Winston Peters, appreciate your time this morning. As always, have a great day.
That was very good. Thank you very much.
It's New Zealand First Leader, Foreign Minister Winston Peters. He does have a point, by the way, on KiwiSaver, because if you look at how much we have Kiwis collectively in KiwiSaver right now, it's a little over $100 billion. Look at the Australians, and the total for all their pensions funds is something like $4 trillion. Absolutely enormous and totally dwarfs anything that we have in New Zealand. So we need to catch up. We need to play catch up, and we need to do that fast. And we will eventually get to 10%. So I'm glad someone's putting it forward as a policy. The question is, of course, how do you afford that as a family? Tax cuts, okay, how do you pay for those? It is 17 minutes.